it is time to go through another sketchbook. Let's choose one. All right, sketchbook shelf, what do you have for me? How about this one? Looks good to me. But first, maybe I'll show you some clips of what I was up to this morning. All right, so let's get into this sketchbook. I do not remember pretty much anything about this sketchbook. I don't remember the dates I worked in it. I don't remember what I've done in it. I haven't opened it. So it really is like a magical mystery tour for all of us involved. This was my third sketchbook, as you can see. It says Sketches 3 on the end. So this is the third sketchbook I ever fully completed, and it's this Rhodia Touch sketchbook. It's got quite thick, smooth white paper, I remember. But I do remember that I by the end of the sketchbook, I was really quite tired of this paper, and I can't remember why. Maybe we'll figure it out as we go along. So let's have a look. Nice black end papers in here. That's quite nice, actually. But as you can see, I worked in this in 2022 for the first, between February and May, that's May. Don't mind me, I'm bad with numbers. So that's not that long. It's not a very thick sketchbook, so maybe it'll be a bit of a swifter tour today, but nothing wrong with that. So February to May 2022. So this is the first page I made in the sketchbook. This was my February color palette, I remember, the greens and purples. And I think I was just doing these like wintry flowers, like this snake's head fritillary and the clover and the snowdrop are all colors, flowers which come in the colors that I was using. And then I had this little quote that I did in this nice style of text, honestly. And I think I was into fountain pens at this time. I think there's a decent amount of fountain pens in here, but this was all colored pencil. I remember really, really loving that color palette. Here, I think I was somebody got me a voucher for my birthday and I used it to buy some new art supplies, and so I just swatched them all out on this page. I was definitely thinking of my March color palette at this point in time, because you can see these turquoise, blues, and this warm yellow were all colors that I used in March of 2022. And then here, just some lettering ideas, I guess, for like, example, like thank you cards maybe, or like a post. I don't know, I don't remember, but I quite like them. I think I definitely copied this one from somewhere, because I would never have come up with that by myself. Maybe these were just inspired from Pinterest or something. So this must have been the last day of February. I'll miss these colors. Thankfully, March is looking cute too. So true. March was indeed looking very cute, and I did these Art Nouveau style ornaments that I probably found in a book on the Internet Archive, which I've made a video about before, so check out that if you want to see where I get a lot of my inspiration. And then this was for the Doodle a Day challenge, I guess. I can't remember who runs this or if they still even do it. But this must have been the things that I bought when I went to the grocery store. So I got some tomatoes and some peppers and a melon in March. Nice. That's not bad. I quite like these illustrations though. I should do more food illustrations because I think these are really fun. But yeah, this was my March color palette. So they're sort of like complementary yellow, orange, and then blue, green together. Looks quite nice. I like this very graphic style. Ah yeah, so as I was saying, a lot of fountain pens in this book. This is when I got a new fountain pen. It matches my jacket actually. And this was the ink I was using, the Diamine Aqua Lagoon. Still love the Diamine inks a lot, and I was just drawing some lamps. I think that was another Doodle a Day prompt. And then this was just me messing around with my March colour palette, I suppose. So I drew this kingfisher and the kiwi. That's a cute little kiwi. Kiwi is such a nice graphic shape, and I think this is a kiwi fruit as well. Quite like this water splash. And I think I was just experimenting with layering the colours to see what colours I could get. I quite like that. Maybe this was for like birds or something. Can't remember, but I do like this spread. And this kingfisher is very cute. So I think I was experimenting with using more toned paper in my sketchbooks. So you can see here I'd pasted in these grey-brown pieces of paper, and I'd done some like little sketches on them. More birds. I quite like this like very geometric yellow bird. I think this was a Posca pen, but it hasn't taken very well on that paper. This puffin's nice too. I think this is probably from a stamp. Maybe all of these are from stamps. Really cute little drawings though. And then some floral illustrations here. I don't know what all these flowers are, but this is definitely like apple blossom. I just think this is really nice. Like this was just using a fine liner and just tracing the shapes. These are really fun, and especially because I was working with this limited color scheme, it automatically brings together all of the spreads that I did during this month, which I think is really cool. And the magnolia is nice too. I'm currently in a phase where I'm a little bit outside of my explorative sketchbooking phase. So I think looking at my sketchbooks it sort of encourages me to get back into it. But right now I'm working on more sort of defined projects, so it's fun to go through these in the meantime. These were some sort of Japanese old illustrations and these sort of like cloud shapes. And then this was something that I found, maybe it was on Pinterest or in an old book, where they said about how they constructed these. So you can see like these cloud shapes and how they would structure them with these ovals. But I actually think that these diagrams are almost just as nice in and of themselves. Oh, I think this says lines. Kind of hard to read, kind of looks like lines, but I think it says lines. Oh yeah, it does. And I was obviously looking at a lot of these illustrations and deciding to try out some of this color blocking with it's very pattern-based line work. I really like that. And I think that this must have been like an ink bleed or something that I went over with maybe like a Neocolor crayon or two. I think that's quite nice too, like this very marbly background and then the contrasting lines over the top. Orange slice, can't go wrong with an orange slice. Some kind of plant, is that a pilea plant or something? In a tin can. And just some leaves. This color, like the color schemes really do bring together like a sketchbook. Like I could draw completely random stuff, but if I draw it all within the same color scheme, it makes the spread look cohesive regardless. Some kind of neon sign writing. I do like neon signs. Cantaloupe, that's quite nice. I like this scribbly pencil texture. Actually, maybe this was one of those multicolored pencils. You know, it might have been. Or a pumpkin. Either way, love these colors together as well still. That was always such a good decision. And then practicing drawing some fish. I really like drawing fish. Maybe if you've seen some of other of my sketchbook tours, you'll realize that I quite often have a page where I drew some kind of fish. I did this kind of scribbly pencil border to the page. I don't know if I like that, but I can see that without it, maybe it looks a little bit unfinished. Oh yeah, I got COVID. So when I got COVID, I did what a lot of people do when they feel a bit sorry for themselves, and I made some impulse purchases. So I bought myself some gel pens. These are the Zebra Sarasa clip pens in vintage colors, so they're all these like nice muted tones. I still have these and I still really like them, so no regrets there. And then I think this was like messing around with color schemes in this sort of blobby pattern. So I did this one with the March colors, and then these sort of muted lavender blue grays, and then this really super bright colors, which I think is like a lot closer to my the colours which are within my range of colours I'd choose now. Quite like these though. I'd obviously use like a stencil to stencil these shapes. I think I should do that more often as well. I really like how these sort of come together like some kind of tree bark or camouflage pattern. Maybe I was doing this for a course actually. I think this was a Domestika course by Adolfo Serra, and it said like self-portrait as an artist. And I was thinking about, I made some little notes about what I would do here. You probably can't read these, but these were like the thumbnail sketches that I made. Quite like those. Give you a little close up. I quite often draw this weird long bear character. My friend said it looked like an animal, and it did. I can't remember what animal it was now, but I'm always really drawn to drawing these weird little characters. And then this was the final piece that I guess I uploaded for the course. So I did the character in black and white, and then this really colourful blob behind it. I even signed it. Don't do that very often. Just put this tracing paper in between my pages to stop things smudging when I really care about them. Sketching some photos from my dad's Instagram. My dad is a photographer, and so he quite often posts really lovely photos, and really quite inspiring to just sketch from those, and I know he won't mind. They're not like, he's not going to copyright claim me for that. And this was the 1st of April, so I was transitioning from my March colour scheme into my April one, so I basically kept these warm yellows, but added more of an olivey green and purples, and decided that I would write these bubbly letters so I could try out those colours together and all the supplies I had in those colours. I think these were also from the Domestika course, so there was this one exercise where there was a lot of pictures from a flea market, and you had to draw the objects separately or find a flea market near you and go and find some objects that you liked and then put them all together. And so I made this teapot with the birds coming out of it. I don't love this, but I appreciate that I did it. It looks kind of awful in my opinion, but I quite like the idea, and you know, sketchbooks don't have to be for perfect work. This is completely unfiltered right here. Back when I did this sketchbook, I didn't know I would be making YouTube videos, so I really had no idea anybody would ever see them. These were from some sketches of characters from this game called Monster Camp. Highly recommend if you haven't played it. It's great fun with friends, and there's a lot of really good character art in there, so I was doing a little bit of like movement studies and generally how the characters were drawn. And there's some noodles. I like this text a lot actually. I think I could make a font like that. That would be really fun. But I quite enjoy, maybe this was the dawn of the noodles? I can't remember. I've done this quite a lot in a few other sketchbooks since, where I basically make these long windy lines and do a colour gradient along them, and then in this case I used a darker coloured pencil for the background. I've definitely sprayed this with a fixative because I can feel that it's like shiny on there. But I do like this. This was maybe another doodle a day prompt. So this was park, and I made some kind of sketches of a minimalist kind of style of a park and some crows. Quite often see crows in parks here. This might have been inspired by a painting from Lee Ellickson. I can't remember though, but I have a hunch that this was based off of something else, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe this is just how I felt like drawing that day. And some ducks. Green duck and a purple duck. I quite like drawing the white duck and then using the purple colour pencil for shading. And then this little silhouette of a pair of ducks up in the corner here. They're cute. Like them. Oh, another piece of tissue paper. Oh, this was, so in April of 2022, I went to Berlin by myself for a weekend, and the part of the reason I went there was because Peter's Art is a really, really good art store that's in Berlin, and they sell the Roman Schmoll Aquarius watercolors. So if you want to know which were my first ever colors that I bought, here they are. These are the colours that I chose. The first, and I went there in person and picked them all up, and it was literally So exciting to me. This was the first time I bought watercolors in years in 2022. So that was like really only just like a year and a half ago or something, less than a year and a half ago that I started picking up more watercolors. I just remember being so excited to get these and all of the Holbein colored pencils, and you can see the color scheme that I was drawn to back then. It's kind of the same now. But I think I put this here because this was done in color pencil. So these were some studies of how to draw faces. So I think I just went on Pinterest and drew some characters that I really liked in the style that I really liked. I think this is kind of fun because when you draw things like this, it all feeds into how you interpret things when you have to draw them for yourself. More studies from Japanese illustrations. So these were, I guess the prompt was crane, and I used to use quite a lot of these prompt lists on Instagram apparently. I don't remember doing that, but maybe I could do that again. And these beautiful cranes. Wow. They've got such a wonderful shape, and we do see quite a lot of cranes or storks or herons, whatever you want to call them, around here. And then this is quite nice. I think I posted this on Instagram at the time. These purple line art cranes with just the orange circle behind them. Really love the contrast of that. Ooh, beetles. Beetles. Those are really nice. So I obviously used a gel pen for these. Super detailed. And I was obviously enjoying all of the shapes and patterns that you can find in beetles. Sorry if you don't like bugs, but beetles are a really, really fun shape. I mean, I don't really enjoy having them like on me or anything, but to draw, they're really entertaining, and I think that this is really, really nice. I obviously didn't sketch or anything. Like, I'm quite keen on just going straight in with pen and, you know, to hell with the consequences. And then probably just filling up a page with some lily sketches. Maybe one of the reasons I got tired of this sketchbook so quickly was because I was using a lot of coloured pencil, and this paper is really not that good for coloured pencil, I don't think. It's a little bit too smooth. But I was also using a lot of felt tip pen, as you can see. I think these were just, I think I maybe found this illustration on Instagram. I quite like it when people do this sort of cutout thing where this isn't a good representation of it, but like where you have like the separate part of the stem, for example, where there's just a bit missing in the middle. And this is quite nice, the way that I shaded this peony. I like that, just felt tip pen. Very chill. And then these were definitely from something that I found on Pinterest or Instagram. Though I think maybe this, the wolf maybe I did by myself. But the idea that you can see inside the stomach of the animal, it's really quite graphic and quite entertaining. More noodles. I guess I was just like, what shall I do on this page? I'll do some noodles. And then catfish. Love drawing catfish. They're such good shapes. I just really love this. And I think this was for maybe a different piece of art that I might have done in watercolors. I was just studying like the composition for where the fish would sit on the page. But I do love catfish. Their little whiskers and the way their bodies are shaped are just so fun to draw. More Pinterest doodles, more Art Nouveau ornaments. Those are really nice. I always really like these, so I think that they're not something that I would ever really incorporate that much into a drawing I was doing, unless it was like a greetings card or something I was designing. And then these sort of more folk art designs of animals, like the cockerel. Wow, he's fun. I love those lines. These are all very good. I probably found these on Pinterest. But they're so fun. I really love these shapes. And I do like how I did the scribbly shading with the gel pen. I think it was a gel pen. Maybe a jelly roll. Looks really good. Really makes it more interesting than if it was just a flat colour. I took a class with my mum and I swatched out all the supplies that I was using for that class. It was really, really good. Really enjoyed that, and I still have the pieces that I made, but it was very much like a expressive charcoal and graphite kind of drawing. And then another page where I'm switching up my colour scheme and drawing the letters so I can see how the colors are changing. I think I kept this olive green, which is why I did the noodles in the background in olive green, and then put the letters in the colors that I was changing. So heading into May. And we have some shells. Love these, very graphic. I really like this block shading. I am really, really super drawn to this. It almost makes it feel like a printmaking exercise or something. And then I think this was looking at old illustrations in a textbook, I think, for like astronomical phenomenon or something. And so this was like shooting stars and like some kind of moon halo, the phases of the moon, and just some other stars to fill in a gap. I love the shading in the background here and this use of negative space. Really, really nice. I think you can tell that I was kind of getting a little bit bored here. I was like, how can I fill up the sketchbook? So I was doing this course by Adolfo Sarra again on Domestika, playing around with different ways to use paint. This might have been some kind of Ecoline pen, I think. And then the Neocolors and doing some scribbly sketches. I don't really love blind drawings of parrots. Really quite fun. 2 colors, 2 hands. So using like both your hands with a different color in each hand to draw the same thing at the same time. You can tell which one was my left hand, I think. And yeah, that's not bad. It's kind of fun. They're just fun, expressive sketches, you know? Just like random birds. Definitely just looking to fill up the page. Maybe this was like with a dip pen. I think this was a dip pen and like some kind of India ink. And just checking out scribbly lines, you know, just playing around, trying to break out of that art block that I was in. Really like not feeling precious about the materials or the paper at all. Drawing more birds. Quite like this style of bird. I feel like this is very much my like personal style of drawing when it comes to quick sketches like this, also for people. And then some more of these using ink. I quite like this one with like the shaded in head, which kind of like fades out to the rest of the body. But yeah, just super scribbly and quick. Quite fun though. And then probably some blind contour drawings of containers, I think, from my kitchen. So you can see I was using my salt jar, which has a little spoon attached to the side. Can't remember what the exercises were, but you can see where I was going with it. These courses are very good for getting out of a slump when you feel like you're a little uninspired. Raccoon in this sort of like messy style. And then I think this was one of these little creatures which I like drawing, just kind of a bit like a ferret, I suppose. And I think I used a stencil with the Neocolors, and then I used the inside part of the stencil and I coloured around it. So it was like a positive space, negative space of the same stencil. It's quite fun, I think. And I like the colours that I used. They're kind of complementary, so it really gives that impression of like daytime, nighttime. I don't know if that's specifically what I was going for, but that's what I see looking at it now, over a year later. They're cute though. That's a fun idea. Just messing around. Maybe this is the end. I think this was messing around with layering with crayons. So you can do this thing where you scribble, put down a layer of crayon and scratch into it, and then you can layer another colour over it and scratch into that. And I think I was just messing around with wax resist and blending colours together and all of that. I don't know, just playing around, definitely. For some reason skip this page, guess it wasn't relevant. More drawing, food and drinks and whatever this is. This is a blackberry vine, I guess, in a very, very loose style, not always the representational colours. A peach, a very scribbly cabbage, I like the way that looks. A tomato. You know, like none of these are like fine art, right? But it's like how I've been using my sketchbook just to get into the creative mood, I guess, and find out what I do like to do and what I keep coming back to. The radishes are really cute though. I think there's like, this is a style that would fit if you had like a thematic set of illustrations for like a cookbook or something, then you could use this and it would be really good. And then some more birds. This owl is cursed as all heck. Look at him. What is wrong with him? But I do quite like this little guy. And the kingfishers again. Love kingfishers. And then I drew an ostrich. And I remember thinking, like, what if a guy was riding the ostrich? So I drew like a little guy on the ostrich and then a question mark over the ostrich's head. Because he really doesn't know what's going on. That's very good. Just like little ethereal birdie in the sky with the berries. This is very interesting. This is so funny to me. This little ostrich with a man on it. Rainbow caterpillar. All sorts of bugs. Beetles again. You see, I really enjoy doing these beetles. I did this before I did the course, and then when I did the course, I went back to it again, drawing these beetles. This little ant king being carried on some kind of platform by his little ant lackeys. Fun little guy. And a bunch of ants enjoying an apple. And the worst butterfly ever drawn by a human being. Something about butterflies is really hard to draw. I know I'm not the only person who thinks this. I guess maybe you just have to be in the right space of mind. I quite like the praying mantis though. Is that it? Oh yeah, last page I was just like, because I didn't want to do any more in this sketchbook. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I was really just finishing it. I think I finished these in the last few same days or so. This was like the 10th of April, May. I keep saying April instead of May. And then the 11th of May, 10th of May. Yeah, you can see I was filling pages and pages at the end here just to get to the end. I think I was just not, there was something about the format and the paper that just wasn't gelling with me at the time, but I didn't want to abandon the sketchbook because I knew I wouldn't come back and finish it, so I thought, let's just fill it up with random stuff so we can move on. And then there's some more Romish Schmall paints I must have bought here. The back here must have expanded my collection at some point in May, or at the end of May. And I think this was the sketchbook I went into next, the Stillman and Byrne Gamma series. I did 2 of those. So I really like this one. This was some materials I was using. I always test all my materials. And then checking out some of my white or metallic on the other end paper. But that's it for that sketchbook. Let me know in the comments what your favourite spread is, and if you've made it to the end of the video, please do consider liking it and subscribing, and maybe share this channel or this video with a friend who you know also likes artsy related content, because I make long form videos once a week and I'm trying to make some shorts during the week as well. So if you enjoy paint swatching, then I try and get a few of those up during the week as well. But thank you so much for coming along on this sketchbook journey with me. I'm looking forward to putting together another fun video for you next week, so be sure to stick around, maybe click the notification bell if you're missing subscription videos. I know this happens to me sometimes. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Bye everybody.